Hi everybody, Ben from Cayzu Help Desk here. In this overview/demo of the Cayzu Help Desk system, we'll go over features and benefits of the system, as well as some of the high-level functionality. Now, I'm also really pleased to announce that I will be giving you guys a sneak peek of our brand new redesigned end user portal that will be launching in June 2017. Now, Cayzu Help Desk can be used for both in companies looking to do internal support, right? So they're trying to support internal employees, as well as companies looking to do customer support. Now, we also have plenty of companies that do a hybrid of both, and which is nice that because we do support multiple brands. So you could have a different customer portal, right, for your customers. You could also have an employee portal, right? So that's all possible. Now, the two main components to the system are the agent portal. So this is where your techs would live, right? Where the people doing the support, answering the customers or the employees. And here's the preview of the end user portal, which we've mocked up with Uber here. Okay, so let's go ahead and log into the employee portal here. Now, before really jumping in, also wanted to note that we do have an Android and iOS app for agents. Okay, as well as the employees or customers looking for support. The end user portal is fully responsive, so if they come here with their tablets or their cell phones, it will properly fit for their screen and they'll be able to navigate your knowledge base as well as post tickets, etc. Now, every agent can log in. Of course, will have their own dashboard, right? So they'll have some high level stats in terms of their open tickets, their close rates, etc. Them versus the team. We also have a to-do list. Okay, so this is kind of like those yellow sticky pads that you put on your computer. So if you need to call the doctor, you can simply type that out, click enter, it gets added. We can also delete and strike through, right? These are different than tickets. The system will also track coming due in terms of due dates, right? So and I'll show that in a couple minutes. And you can expose that to your customers' employees as well. On top of that, we do have SLAs, so it's very common that people get SLAs and coming due confused. As well as the system is completely searchable. So without any extra work, you can simply type in what you're looking for and then also filter down your results, right? So we will search everything from assets, your contacts, your companies, custom fields, all your knowledge base, tickets, including ticket replies, private notes, etc. Okay. Now, you'll also notice a new button here. Okay, so this is so let's talk about the ways that tickets can be created. Okay, so probably the most popular is via email. So we do allow you to use a vanity email address for your customers to email to automatically create tickets. Now, we will also allow you to support multiple email addresses. So let's just use Uber for example. So if they wanted to set up billing as well as tech support, they could have two different email addresses, billing@uber.com, tech support@uber.com. Both would create tickets. Now we can also manually create tickets as an agent, as well as customers can, through your knowledge base or your end user portal, can also submit tickets that way. Okay. Now, the menu is retractable. My preference is anyways, that's going to keep it on the side, closed in, so I have more screens, so let's do that. And let's kind of jump into the tickets grid. Okay. So now, the tickets grid is based on views or filters. Okay, so out of the gate, we give you 7 or 8 views or filters, as right now I have it on my open pending. If you don't find what you're looking for, you can manually create views or filters. Okay. Now, another important feature is that, and sometimes missed, is that you can also customize these columns. Okay, so now let's say that you do support multiple brands, right? You might want to turn on the brand column. Okay, if you don't, you might want to turn it off, right? Um, what we also can do is we can also do some bulk items. Okay, so if we select 2 or many tickets, right, we can assign it to a different agent. Let's say someone's on vacation, they quit, whatever. We also have the concept of a bulk reply. Now, a bulk reply will allow you to answer, 2 or many tickets or all at the same time. It also accesses our quick responses, which are canned answers, right? So whatever you've pre-written gets automatically filled, as well as you can change all the statuses. Okay. Now, we also have the ability to export, delete, and we also will handle spam. So spam is run through Spam Assassin, right? So you basically give the help desk a spam score, and we'll handle the rest. Now, on top of the export, okay, we also do have 11 canned reports, okay, but this just allows you to export 20 different data points, okay, so if you do need to pull out specific data history, ticket history rather, as well as custom fields, which is nice, right? So you can export everything out and then manipulate that in CSV or Excel. Now, let's jump into a ticket, right? So let's say I want to work with a ticket. Now, also important to understand is that we can do this via email as well, right? So I don't necessarily need to come into this portal to answer tickets. Now, one of the most common things here in the help desk system is replying to tickets, right? So I can simply click reply, hello, this is your answer, right? Now, no one pretty much likes typing, right? So we make that a little bit quicker for you. So if you have common question and answers, right, you can set them up either in canned responses or in your knowledge base, right? So we allow you to quickly search your knowledge base and then quickly put in links back to it, right? Same thing with quick responses. This saves you a lot of typing times. We can also really quickly create knowledge from tickets. So if something comes up, quite commonly, you can create knowledge right out of the gate, right on this screen, right? Now, everything that we type and send to the customers is threaded and time-stamped, okay? So if we scroll down here, we're going to see timestamps. We're also going to see that some of the threads are yellow, okay? Now this is a private note and it's pretty clear this customer is a jerk. You would never want that to go to your customer, right? Now this is how we do that. So private notes are meant to be able to pass notes back and forth between your agents, right? So the employee or the customer getting support would never see that, right? We also have the concept of tracking time and billing, right? So we can manually do that, manual input, or you can do that on a timer. We can also tie into billing systems. We also allow you to merge tickets, right? So two or many tickets that are either the same problem end up being the same problem. You can merge them together to work with one. Print, delete, as well as see a very detailed audit log of a ticket's history. Very useful if a ticket's been going on a long time, etc., or a customer starts asking questions. Now, all of these labels here are customizable, right? So the drop down. So if I want to change the source or I want to change the statuses, right? So instead of calling it resolved, we want to call it closed. That can be done, and that's done into the admin, and I'll show that in a sec. Now we will also track service contracts. So if you are an MSP or someone that sells software, for example, we can track that service contract in terms of are they eligible to get support or not? And you can see here that this guy has expired. Now, we will also handle groups or departments, and I'll get that in a sec. And kind of scrolling down, I want to show a couple other features here, is that the opposite of the merge is split. So this is used when a customer puts in or simply replies to an email and puts in a new problem. So I have a new problem, which I've demonstrated here. We can click this fork and split it. So the customer will get a new ticket number, much easier to manage, right? So it's not just kind of a clutter. Now, we also have the ability to forward out to a third party. So a third party could be, for example, we have a Dell computer that's broken. We could forward that out to our Dell rep. His response will come in as an internal reply, and they will never be able to interface back with your customer. So from there, you take your Dell's rep reply back to your customer, and kind of go on your way. Now, moving on to the next section is the articles. Now, the articles section will correspond with your public knowledge base, right? For your users or your employees, right? So you can create facts, topics, news, and they will show up here. Okay, this will be customizable. We can set up your categories, etc. But it's pretty straightforward, right? Click add fact, put in the article date, title, message, associate it to a product, add some tags, attach files. We can also put in search engine information, right? Now the nice thing about this is we can also make them private. So if we make them private, it's only accessible by your agents. So it's kind of like also having an internal knowledge base, right? Now, moving over to the contacts, the system does organize contacts in two different ways. Okay, so we can have one-off contacts as well as contacts that are associated to a company. Now the system can automatically associate for you, right? So let's say that we've set up, the McDonald's Corporation, right? So anything coming from McDonald's.com. So if anyone sends an email at McDonald's.com, we will automatically associate to that company. Okay. Now to jump into a company, right? So this is kind of like a company card. Same thing with the contacts, right? So we can edit at the company information. We can track service contracts as I mentioned, right? So if we do charge for support, we can track that. We can see all the associated contacts. Okay, so the system will associate by domain as well as allow you to create them manually. We can also see the associated assets, which can be associated to a company or to a contact of a company, as well as all the recent tickets. Okay, now at each level we can click in, but just kind of give you an example of editing a company, right? So you will see all the standard, company name, address, city, etc. You'll also see some other custom stuff. So you'll see subscriber info, water consumption, right? What is your favorite color? These are all custom fields that I've created. So you can add custom fields at a company, at a contact level, at the assets, as well as forms, and I'll explain that in a bit. Now, moving over to the reports. So I did mention this before, right? So we do have 11 canned reports. They're general reports, agent-specific stuff, and just other. So we will track everything from, who's clicking, or rather, how many times your articles are getting clicked. We have SLA reports, asset reports, timesheet stuff, as well as summaries, right? So this one, just to kind of give you an idea, let's grab up some data here. We'll run the report. So this will give you, over a specific time period, how many tickets were received, the average initial response times, resolution times, average interactions between the customers, agents, etc. Okay. Now, all of these reports are exportable as well. Okay. Now, before moving over to the admin, I'm just going to show you here as well as that you can quickly access your end user portal here, as well as access agent-specific settings. So each agent can put in, all their personal information, their own date format, if they're available, because the system does allow you to automatically assign tickets if you want using round robin, right? As well as which time zone they're in. Okay. Each agent will also have their own notification settings. So what they want to be notified of. Nice thing is, as an administrator, we can also change these for them by assuming the agent's identity. Okay. Now, moving into the admin section. So the admin section does have a lot in it. So I will keep it, pretty high level. Again, we do offer live demos. We have webinars all the time that we'll get into more detail. So keep that in mind. Now, the primary account information will be your main contact, your billing details, etc. Jumping into agent roles and groups, right? So there's a few different things we can do here. So number one, we can quickly add agents, right? So those are the people doing support. Now, we can also set up roles. Now, something that I always suggest removing is the ability to delete. Okay, so a common role that we see is your new hire role, right? So, for example, we hire a new support person. We want them obviously to reply to tickets, delete. As I mentioned, I wouldn't suggest that. Be able to assign. Maybe we're not going to give them the ability to delete a contact or a company as well. They can view articles but not yet create, and we don't want them access their reports or admin, right? So after we've set up this role, we can then come back here and assign it to a specific agent, okay? Now, you'll notice here is that I can select a new hire role, okay, the profile rather, as well as set the agent's permissions. So by default, all the agents can see all tickets. Very common is to enable group access. So this is kind of like department access. So going back to that example of tech support and billing with Uber, right, is that if they didn't want the billing department to see the tech support tickets, they could enable this and associate each agent or group of agents in groups. They can also allow an agent to only see what's been assigned to them manually or automatically through the system. Okay. So after you've made that change, you can click update. As well as I mentioned, we can track an agent's billing rate. So if you do charge for support, the system can do all that for you, as well as agents can belong to one or many groups. So let's kind of jump into groups here really quick. Now, the concept of a group is, again, back to that same example, a billing and a tech support group. So after we've named the group, so let's call this billing, we can select, like I said, one or many agents, and then we can set up some assignment rules. Now, we can automatically assign via round robin, so that's through a circular fashion, right? First ticket will go to Ben, second to Bronk, third to Elena. We can also set up automations through assignment rules, which I'll get to in a sec, as well as we can escalate. We don't need to set this up and allow them to manually assign out their tickets, etc. But we can also escalate if it's not answered within a certain amount of time or assigned in a quicker time. Um, this is also commonly known as departments. Okay. Now the system does also support multiple products. So if you do support multiple products, you can tie knowledge to it, to a specific product, which is nice. So if they do come to the end user portal setting or end user portal here, they can search by that product and only see relevant knowledge. Okay. Now let's kind of jump into the personalized screen here. Now, manage brands and end user portal settings here used to be the traditional way that we would be able to control and change your end user portal, right? So if you wanted to change this text, for example, you'd come into here, okay? But that's changing. So after initial setup of your brand, right, again, because we can support multiple brands, you will customize the page, right, the sections, the text, right, your social media links, etc., all in line, okay? So again, this is just a prototype. This is being released in June, but just kind of show you what'll work, how it'll work is you'll customize the page. And then from there, you'll be able to, change your images, change your text, right? Change this section, etc. This will also allow you to create new containers, right? So that's for the categories, as well as the text colors, banner colors, etc. Okay. And after we make the changes, we just simply save them, and they will be automatically published. Now, we also have a section called emails, which is very important. So the email, as I mentioned earlier, allows you to set up one or many email addresses. So again, if you want to set up two groups, for example, billing and tech support at uber.com or whatever your company name is, right? This is where you'll do it. Okay. The nice thing is that we can also tie inboxes, mailboxes rather, to groups, to products as well as forms. So this allows you to automatically assign tickets via groups, for example. So if someone emails billing at uber.com, the billing team would be notified, etc. The forms allow you also to customize the tickets you're working on. So, majority of tickets will come through email, right? So that means they've skipped your form where you can ask them specific questions. Nice thing about tying it to a form is that you can then have your tech support agents or your agents change those for the customer in a second email by asking them, right? The system also organizes out the emails that it sends. So this is what your agents would get. This is what your customers or employees would get, as well as CC notifications. Important to note is that we will support multiple language, which you can enable, right? And we will customize and automatically update these letters for you. Now, in these letters, you can also turn them off, edit them, of course, right? So if we click it, you'll see that you have a variety of variables you could choose from. Out of the gate, these are ready to go because we keep them pretty generic. We will automatically put your customer's name in there, the subject, the agent's name, etc. Okay. If you feel like one needs to be turned off, you can turn it off and on. Okay. Jumping back into the personalized, we'll jump into the business rules. Now, business rules are your SLAs, right? So we allow you to set up your business hours if you work 9 to 5, 8 to 7, 24 hours, whatever it is, right? And then from there, we can assign SLA policies, okay? So based on the priority of tickets, we can then escalate, track using SLAs. Now, for example, let's say if a ticket comes in as urgent, we want it responded within 2 hours, resolved within 4 during business hours. If a ticket comes in high, we will be a little more lenient, let's say 4 hours, resolved within 8. Now, let's say for this exercise, we're going to not worry about medium and low. From there, we can choose to escalate. So we can escalate to a manager, to another agent, etc., or not. If we choose not to escalate, we can simply report on it. Okay, so we will have an SLA report, which will show you what's been broken, what's not, etc. On top of that, SLAs can be assigned to a company specific, right? So if one company pays more support than another company, we can do that, right? We can group them, as well as we can instead set it to the entire brand. So if everybody follows the same brand, we can also do that, okay? Jumping back to personalized, we'll jump into assignment rules. Okay, so assignment rules are kind of your big brother, like the TV show, right? So it'll monitor incoming tickets based on conditions. Now, two popular use cases here, and there are hundreds because we allow you to set up your own conditions. So for example, if the subject or description contains, billing, for example, we might want to set the group as our sales group, okay? Another use case here, if the from email is ceo@importantcustomer.com, we might want to assign it to our best agent as well as set the priority as urgent. Okay, so there is no limit in terms of how many rules you set up, and it will work in a cascading manner. So it'll check check the first rule, then the second, etc. Okay. Custom fields and custom forms kind of go hand in hand. So let's jump into custom forms here. Now, custom forms are basically a set of questions that you can enable for your user when they come to the end user portal to be able to submit a ticket. Now, I've set them up here as a billing question, product specific question, or technical question, right? Now, these are totally in control. You are totally in control of this, right? So this could be 3 different products, 5 different products. It could be kind of like how I set it up, like departments, billing, or technical, right? So the control's up to you. So if I go ahead and edit one of these, we're going to see that we can change all the icons, the name, descriptions, etc. Now we'll also see as a set of questions, or what we call custom fields. Okay, now you'll see here that I have the priority, which is now enabled. Let's say I don't want to give that ability for my customer to select that or the employee to select that. So I can set a default and hide it, right? Now I can also drag and drop as well as add custom fields that I've set up. So if I've set up a custom field called new customer, I can add that, and then I can also drag and drop it. As I make changes, I just click save and it will be automatically published here. Okay. Now, very important to understand is that custom forms wouldn't really be very useful if you didn't have the ability to create those custom fields or custom questions, right? So as I mentioned, we can create custom fields at the asset or at the form level, right? We can add custom fields to companies, contacts, as well as assets. Now, I'm going to add it for forms because all the types of custom fields are the same. Now, I can add labels, so that's no input, single line, number, so only numbers will be accepted, paragraph, checkboxes, drop-downs, calendar controls, as well as dependent fields. Dependent fields is kind of cool because you could ask your customer, are you having problems with product A or B? Depending on what they then select, you can ask them a different set of questions. Okay. Again, once we create them, we can choose if they're required or not, and we click save. And from there, we can associate them to a form or automatically associate them to a contact, company, or asset. Okay. Now, moving on to custom lists, right? So custom lists allow you to change those drop downs, right? So I gave the example earlier of the resolved ticket. So if you guys call it closed instead of resolved, or you want to put in third level, second level, first level, whatever it is, this is how you change those drop downs. Assets allows you to create asset classes. Okay, so if you want to track vehicles or PCs or mobile phones or whatever, you create the class, and then from there you create custom fields to then mark what you want to track. So for example, I've set up a vehicle, right? So you'll see here that I've set up the vehicle and I've associated these 3 custom fields, color, type, and year of car. So then I can then associate it to a customer or a contact of that customer. Okay. Now jumping back here, we will also have canned responses. So those are quick responses where you've seen me searching when I was working on a ticket. Ticket settings is just more automation, right? So we can automatically close tickets, reopen tickets, set your spam scores, ticket numbers, time zones, etc. The support widget allows you to take our support forms and then put them into your own website. So if you don't want to send people to their own end user portal, you can do that. You can put it right into your website using our forms. Okay. The tags is how you can manage and create those tags. Nice thing about tags, you can also report on them. So if you are working on a ticket and it's related to a server outage, let's say, you might want to tag it and then say in the month of September how many tickets were related to tags, for example. Now, moving into the integrations. So we integrate in with Twitter and Facebook, right? So you can link your Twitter or Facebook pages. The system will automatically create tickets for you, and your agents will be able to respond just like they would a normal ticket. We will also follow the character count. Okay, so we will display that to your agent. So if Twitter is 140 characters, we'll give them that same space. The app integration allows you to expand on the system, right? So we integrate with things like CRMs, like Capsule. We have analytics, more CRMs. We have project management, lots of chats, including a free one. We have billing, team collaboration stuff, surveys, etc. We are always working on these. If you need more, simply request one, email sales@cayzu.com, and we will do our absolute best to get it added. Now, finally is the security. So the security is you can apply for an API token. Okay, so if you do want to programmatically tie into our system, you can. You can also lock down the system by IP address. Okay, so if you want people to log in from specific IP or ranges, you can do that. Same with customers. And then finally, we do support the single sign-on, which also does tie into Active Directory if that's required, or through other SSO applications. We will also tie into Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as Google for single sign-on. So we do have instructions for this. You enable it, and then you'd have to fill in the information. Okay. Now, just to finalize, if you have any questions, what I suggest is visiting our website, cayzu.com. Our pricing is very straightforward. We have everything from per agent to an unlimited package. And all of the training, support, onboarding, and of course, all future upgrades are also included. Thank you again for joining. I look forward to working with you. Thank you.